Good morning. It's inspiring to see such a large, accomplished group of industry, civic, and policy leaders here today. Catalyst launched earlier this year to strengthen Arkansas State University's role as a convener, aligning needs and resources to keep progress moving here in Northeast Arkansas and beyond. Before we dive in, a very warm welcome to our elected officials, State of Arkansas cabinet secretaries and department heads, ASU system dignitaries, members of the ASU Board of Trustees, and Ken Warden and Tina Moore with the Department of Higher Education. Thank you to Chancellor Todd Shields and Dean Jim Washam for their continued leadership and commitment to innovation and relationship building that made today possible. And thanks to Jay and the team who worked behind the scenes and are still working to pull this all together. We set an ambitious bar with our first Catalyst event in January and exceeded it, selling 600 tickets. This fall, we've done it again, with more than 600 of you in the room today. And this tells us that the desire to collaborate cannot be ignored. Rooms like this help bridge the gap between economic development needs and the expertise and workforce we develop through higher education. That's why we're here. The stakes are simple. Faster paths to talent and solutions mean more jobs and stronger companies across our region. You'll see that play out today as leaders from agriculture, infrastructure, entrepreneurship, and technology show how collaboration is already driving growth. From plant tours that help shape curriculum to internships that turn into hires, and projects that move ideas from a lab to everyday use. We're especially looking forward to the regional collaboration conversation. Chancellor Todd Shields has a passion for seeing Northeast Arkansas continue to thrive. And his fireside chat with economic developer Graham Cobb will explore how communities, companies, and campuses can work together in the same direction. As we move through the day, please share your organization's needs. If you don't know who to talk to, come find me, find the Chancellor, or the Provost, Calvin White, and we'll help make the connection. If we don't cross paths today, please don't hesitate to email us at catalyst@astate.edu and let us know how we can help. Since January, we've already seen the right kind of cooperation. Curriculum informed by job sites, class projects tied to business priorities, paid internships that count for college credit, and joint efforts that make funding more competitive. That's the work that we came to do. And we're also building what comes next. We're already planning for November 2026. And we'd value your input on topics and potential panelists so that we can design the most valuable conversations for all of you. To kick things off today, please turn your attention to the screens for a welcome from Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Hi, I'm Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the 2025 Catalyst, Northeast Arkansas Economic Development and Leadership Forum. This forum is a space for leaders and innovators to share ideas, strengthen connections, and identify how we can expand the industry and build upon the ideas that form the backbone of Northeast Arkansas's economy. The conversations happening here will help us grow, compete, and lead for years to come. Thank you for being here today and for helping drive the ideas that keep Northeast Arkansas moving forward.
Momentum in Northeast Arkansas and at A-State is building. Thank you so much for investing your time and your leadership today. Enjoy your day, and we look forward to our collective success ahead. And now, I would like to invite to the stage our first panel, Agriculture.
Good morning. Thank you, Heather. I am Calvin White, Jr., and I am the Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor here at Arkansas State University. It is great to have you with us for this important discussion. Across Arkansas, agriculture producers and Arkansas State University are working together to turn farm strength into business growth. developing new products from local crops, finding use for byproducts, testing practical technologies, and connecting research directly with industry needs. This morning, we'll take a closer look at what's working, what's next, and how Arkansas State can continue to make a lasting impact. We will also discuss the role of our new College of Veterinary Medicine will play in supporting producers, strengthening rural communities, and advancing the farm economies that keep Arkansas moving forward. We are honored to have 4 distinguished guests joining us this morning on this panel, and I look forward to the conversation. And before we get into this conversation or discussion, I want to take a minute to allow each one of them about 30 to 45 seconds to actually introduce themselves. I know this is going to be hard, but we're on a time clock, guys. So I guess I'll start with Harvey. We want to start with a brief introduction.
I'm a farmer, and I'll keep that brief. I'm a graduate of the product of the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, and I've had a career in food processing and lived across this country, and now I'm back home and started a business here in my hometown.
Thank you, Harvey. Mickey?
I'm Mickey Latour. I'm Dean of Agriculture here at Arkansas State University. One of the things that we pushed forward in the college was beyond the classroom experiences for our students. And today, I'll have an opportunity to talk about some of those exciting things that our students are doing.
Great. Secretary Ward.
Yes, sir. I'm Wes Ward. I'm the Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Arkansas. Just honored to get to serve the state in that capacity, and great to be here in Northeast Arkansas. A graduate of Arkansas State University, so it's always good to be here, and grew up just right down the road in Lake City. So Northeast Arkansas is home. Just a lot of great things going on. Glad to be here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. Matt?
I'm Matt Bell, founder of Origami Sake. We're the first sake brewery in Arkansas and the largest domestically owned sake brewery in the United States. We use 100% Arkansas rice and water sourced from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I'm an Arkansas native and graduate of U of A. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you all for being here again, and as I told Secretary Ward on last night, we were just going to run toward the elephant in the room, and so he's aware of this. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I actually am, Wes. Secretary Ward, there is certainly a challenging period for agriculture across the United States, and we are feeling it particularly strong here in Northeast Arkansas. What are you hearing directly from farmers on the ground, and what actions do you anticipate state and federal leaders will do to ease the financial and operational burdens farmers are currently facing?
Yeah, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that question. Or maybe I don't appreciate that question, but we'll tackle it anyway. But it shouldn't be any surprise for anyone that's in this room that agriculture is our state's largest industry. $25 billion economic impact, about 250,000 jobs are associated with agriculture. It is the backbone of Arkansas and our economy, and so many things are tied to that. And if you've watched any of the news, if you've visited with a farmer or anyone involved in the ag business industry, you know that our ag economies, and especially on the row crop side, is in a very difficult last couple of years, but this year as well. So there are some estimates that are showing our row crop industry is going to take about between a 1.1 to 1.5 billion with a B economic hit this year. There are basically no row crop commodities that you can produce that are profitable. Most of them are taking a significant loss this year. So say all that to say, when you have our row crop industry, significant economic impact, that affects everybody. That affects small communities, rural communities, grocery stores, restaurants. If you're in this room, it impacts you. You're probably associated with agriculture in some capacity or another. So that is really the elephant in the room. Agriculture is critically important. There are a lot of challenges right now, but there's a lot of effort to try to address that. Certainly we've got a phenomenal congressional delegation that's working really hard on that. The governor has been on farm tours. She's visited with producers. She's had direct conversations with U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary Rollins, with the president himself about the situation situation in Arkansas. So there's a lot of effort to address that. Certainly the government shutdown does not help that situation, but even that piece aside, working through trade deals, there's been some recent announcements on China purchasing soybeans, Bangladesh purchasing soybeans. So there's an all-hands-on-deck approach to trying to help navigate through this situation, but a lot of challenges, but also a lot of really great things going on in agriculture as well, which I know is really kind of the focus. We want to address the negative piece. We're working on those, but then look towards the future on the positive things that are happening to get us through that. But I appreciate the opportunity to address that.
Thank you, Secretary Ward, and we really do appreciate you for addressing that. Matt, Origami Sake uses 100% Arkansas-grown rice, including specialty varieties. What made this grown here, made here model work for you? And which farm, university, or state partnerships were essential to the development of your product and ultimately seeing it to the marketplace?
Thanks for the question. So Arkansas, as many of you know, is the leading rice growing state in the U.S. We have about 1.4 million acres of rice and about 50% of the U.S. production. What's unique about Arkansas is we're the first state to grow sake varieties of rice. There's about 147 of those varieties, and one of those varieties is grown in Humnoke, Arkansas. And so Arkansas has really two things that are important for sake: rice and water. We have the best water in the United States for brewing sake, and that's 99% of what sake is made from. So we're really the Napa Valley of sake here. We've had a lot of collaboration with the University of Arkansas and their Beverage Innovation Center, and a lot of the science behind brewing, and want to work with the U.S. Rice Research Institute on sake, or rice varieties as well.
Now, when you leave here, you tell everyone sake is actually being brewed or distilled in the state of Arkansas.
It is actually brewed, yes,
It's brewed.
in Arkansas.
Is it brewed?
And it's sake, not
Sake.
sake. So that's the other thing. It took me a while to learn that. I'm from
Sake.
Arkansas, too.
Sake. Harvey, you built a brand around sweet potatoes and other crops. What 2 lessons did you learn along the way that you would like to share with growers who want to earn more by turning what they grow into a finished product that could potentially be scaled to market?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. Sweet potatoes is what we've become known as. We have produced an award-winning vodka from sweet potatoes, and this vodka has actually gone on to win platinum awards across the world. So I grew up on that farm down in Phillips County, Lee and Phillips County, and the one theme that I always heard my dad tell me was we need to do value-added something. Otherwise, you're just a commodity. And he converted our farm back in the late 70s, early 80s from row crop to specialty crop. So we were growing vegetables. We ended up into the squash business, purple hull peas, and sweet potato business. And he just continued to focus on value add. He said the customer is looking for convenience. They're looking for something that's going to either be premium or something that they could connect to and resonate and make their life easier. And when I came back to the state after being gone in a career 25 years, I came back and I wanted to start my own business. And I wanted to use that farm. And one of the things that we grew and have grown are sweet potatoes. And this whole idea of creating a spirit from sweet potatoes, from something that we grow, just fascinated me. And I started digging into that. And sure enough, you can actually distill alcohol from sweet potatoes. Now, we did have to tap into academia to help us figure that out. But there are complex sugars that there's a process that we have now somewhat perfected to extract those sugars out of the sweet potatoes. So I say find something that the customer is looking for that's going to add value, make their life easier. There's probably people in this room that remembers that you could only buy lettuce as a head. Now you go to, there's a generation that probably doesn't know that lettuce it didn't start in a bag. So find a way to make their life easier, and then a product that connects and resonates with their everyday use.
During the conversation last night at dinner, we talked about some of the awards that your vodka and your business has won. Can you go through those really quickly and bring some of that Arkansas pride back to East Arkansas?
Yeah, it really is amazing for people to come, and there are a lot of people from the Arkansas Delta, and there's a lot of pride here. They may live all over the country and all over the world now, but when they come by a bottle of our vodka or our gin, or even this Arkansas Brown, this bourbon product that we have, and to see Helena, Arkansas, that is distilled there, is cooked, fermented, distilled there, there's a lot of pride. So the largest spirit competition in the world is San Francisco World Spirits Competition, and we won double gold in that in 2022 and 2023, and then last year in 24 when we won the double gold, they said you have now reached a tier that many don't reach, which is platinum, and you only get platinum by winning double gold for 3 consecutive years. So we are really, really proud of that award.
Everybody, let's give that a round of applause. Outstanding. Dean Latour, could you share a quick example of how Arkansas State University is working with industry leaders, perhaps highlighting your collaboration with Anheuser-Busch on the Snack Stick for Kids project, and how and what you think made that project and private-public partnerships so successful?
Well, thank you, Provost. Actually, it started with bratwurst. And so what happened is we were going through the Anheuser-Busch facility right here in Brooklyn, and as we're walking through, looking at the rice, we noticed they had some broken rice. And it asked, "What are you doing with that?" I said, "Oh, that's not something we're going to use. If you want it, you can have it." I said, "We'll take it." So we took that and we're going to put it into our bratwurst. And so we made a lot like a boudin, but it doesn't have liver. It's got 37.5% rice. Fantastic product. And we actually incorporate their lager, which is non-alcohol, into that product. So fantastic product. We launched it at their field day in June of last year and again this year. And so as we're moving forward, we've been working on snack sticks for a backpack project. So in Arkansas, if you don't know, that Arkansas is #1 in food insecurity for children. It's the one time where we want Mississippi to be ahead of us. So when we started with that project, it's 75% venison and we blend it with 25% pork. And we produce that product, and as it goes back, and it goes back into those backpacks, we thought, how can we create more? So Anheuser-Busch decided, okay, we're going to give you an endowment, and part of that is figure out how to put rice into that product. So we're starting on that now. We're going to add up to 20% rice so we can create more products. So pretty excited about that. And we're going to also create a second snack stick that we hope that can actually be on a counter at most convenience stores that we'll create with our students.
Before we move on, for those in the audience who don't know, can you talk a little bit about our meat processing and meat packing operations we have on campus, and by it being state certified as well? So can you talk a little bit about that? It's one of our gems here.
It is, and I have to thank the gentleman to my left. So Wes has been instrumental in that. During COVID, there was some specific money that they wanted to push out to work with small processors, and we were very fortunate to receive some funds, and it's completely updated. Today it's probably about $1.5, $1.6 million investment, and so state-of-the-art equipment. In fact, the equipment's being installed now. We want to be at about 300 snack sticks a year, and so we have just launched what we call our Snack Stick 365. So if you take a step back, the snack sticks that we're doing for the backpack program really starts during deer season, so that's October to maybe January. We said that if we had some additional equipment, we could be year-round, and so we'll pick up with the other commodity groups, pork and beef and all of them will go year-round.
You know, interesting story about that. I was talking to the Chancellor the other day. We got a frantic phone call from some colleagues at the Division of Ag at the U of A from our colleagues at the University of Arkansas. And for some reason or another, they were having a goat roast, and they've had brought in this world-renowned Brazilian chef, and he brought his own goat with him. And but they couldn't process the meat at their meat packing laboratory in Fayetteville. So he made a phone call, and we said, we would be more than happy to process it, but it's going to cost you. So Mickey, congratulations on that. Secretary Ward, next question is for you. The governor recently moved nutrition programs under the Department of Agriculture. How will this help address food insecurity and strengthen the ag economy in Arkansas? What are the practical steps to get more Arkansas-grown products into our public schools? And how can local producers connect with those programs?
Yeah, I love that question. I love Dr. Latour was talking about food insecurity and things that we're doing to address that. There's already efforts underway now. The ag industry has been a big supporter of trying to address food insecurity. The rice industry does a donation every year to the food banks. There's a lot going on, but there's a lot more that we can do. And you know, the Governor Sanders has already identified food insecurity as one of her top priorities to help address. And so we've collectively across state government have been looking, what can we do? She challenged her cabinet, it's like, look at what you're doing, how can we help to address food insecurity in Arkansas? So working with the Department of Education, we are moving those nutrition programs to the Department of Agriculture. And in particular, if you look at the amount of dollars that come from USDA, most of those are USDA grants for school nutrition programs. How much of that was going and being spent on Arkansas food? You probably don't want to know the number. We're still working on it, but it's not enough. We have reached out to schools across the state. It's like, how much rice are you serving in your cafeterias? The number often is zero.
Wow.
When you look at rice being our state's, Arkansas being the #1 producer of rice in the country, like that's low-hanging fruit. Like we can address that. We can get more Arkansas rice, more Arkansas catfish, more Arkansas poultry products, a broad range of things that we can do to get more of those products into schools. So it really kind of addresses 3 priority items. You address food insecurity in the state, you address the ag economic conditions, which we've already talked about, and 3, you address ag education. So those young kids, the future leaders of our state have an understanding of where their food comes from. They're supporting Arkansas producers, Arkansas farmers. They understand Arkansas agriculture. They're getting safe, nutritious products, and they're helping our state to continue to grow and be successful, certainly in partnership with many others that are working to address food insecurity. So we're really excited about that. We have already announced a Rice in Schools pilot program to help get more Arkansas rice in Arkansas schools. And the governor today is also going to announce an Arkansas plate project, very similar. How do we get rice, poultry, catfish, soybeans, edamame, all of those, how do we get those on plates of kids in Arkansas so that they're getting Arkansas products?
Secretary, as a graduate of Stuttgart High, I can attest to you that they are serving rice in the cafeteria. Ate more than I care to tell you about. Matt.
Every meal, I'm sure. Probably every meal.
For years, I didn't eat it because of that. Matt, sake, it produces byproducts like koji and kasu ingredients that can be used to finish premium beef and even appear in skincare products. What kind of opportunities do you see in those areas, and what kinds of testing, research, or partnerships would help move these ideas and potential products to market?
Sure. So actually, koji isn't a byproduct, it's a product that goes into sake. It is a spore. It's the national spore of Japan, for those of you that want to know. But it's called Aspergillus oryzae. And that spore is what causes the starches in rice to break down into fermentable sugars, which Harvey was talking about. There is no available sugar in rice, but koji is also the backbone of a lot of Japanese cuisine. So it's the backbone to soy sauce, to mirin, as well as miso. And so there's a lot of uses for that. About 20% of our sake is made using koji, which allows fermentation to start. So a lot of use cases for koji, and there's a lot of research around koji and that mold spore, Aspergillus oryzae, that could really create a lot of industry here in Arkansas just using that as a backbone for other value-added products. Kasu is a byproduct.
It is.
And so kasu is the process when we ferment sake, we press out all the rice solids, and what's left is pretty much a paste. And that product is called Kasu. It has a lot of probiotics and amino acids in it. Currently, we give it to cattle farmers to finish cows with, and but it is also used in the #1 most expensive skincare product in the country as a face mask. It's really good for your skin. What they found over centuries of brewing sake is the brewers, their hands were about 20 years younger than than their faces, and so it's really great for your skin. And there's some really good opportunities there. Of course, us being in the brewery industry and the alcohol industry, that's a whole different product category and a whole different development and distribution channel. But there's a big opportunity using that byproduct.
Thank you. Harvey, next one. You've been incorporating distillery mash into your operations, spreading it on fields and even blending some with hay and cottonseed to feed cattle. As you continue developing these parts of the operation, what kind of information or research do you still need the most? Whether it's food nutrition data, soil impact studies, or guidance on handling and storage. How could Arkansas State and other institutions of higher education actually help you?
Great question, because I haven't done any work on the byproduct. I mean, the distillery, I guess we would consider sustainable, because the only waste product that comes out of there is the mash that's left over after we distill the alcohol off of that mash. And just out of necessity, we've been taking that to the farm and, feeding that to either one or two things. You're right, feeding it to the cows, blending it with some hay, or land applying it. But I haven't done any analysis on that product to see what the nutritional content is, or protein, or any value that would be useful for the soil. And so that would be a place to start, to start getting some testing of that. I will tell you that I didn't know that there was a processor here, or at least a beef processing study at the university. But we did kill our first cow this year, and that cow has been on grass and mash, fermented mash from alcohol, and the beef is excellent. I mean, so I may be on to something here.
We'll be more than happy to help you process.
All right.
Dean Latour, when a business brings something like leftover distillery mash to your team, how does that type of partnership support Arkansas State's labs, faculty research, and student projects? And for companies who want to get involved, what are the most efficient and effective ways to connect with you and your team?
So just so you know, because I know you're going to text me later, have I talked to Harvey? Yes. So I met him when we walked in and we were talking about the product. So a component of that is, even when you look at sake and other things, most of the time when you look at companies, and in my previous life at different institutions, much of the energy is focused on the primary product. A lot of that energy is driving there. And then you have the other things that come off, whether it's the mash and those create real opportunities, right? So the bulk of the people are focused on the primary thing, and then you have these other pieces. And so we can see the opportunity there to do the profile and to think through it. When we were out front talking, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, there's a different price point when we're talking about applying it to a field as a fertilizer potentially, or as a feed ingredient. It's a different when you use it as a face cream, right? That's a different price point. So we could get involved in that. One of the biggest projects that we're working on right now, and I see the Riceland folks are here, but we had a great collaboration with Riceland, the College of Engineering and Computer Science, along with the Neil Griffin College of Business. We're actually working with Riceland to do exactly that. We actually walked through their facility, looked at a variety of things. We have faculty and students that look at things and then pitch an idea, and we have multiple projects going on. In fact, they came back and they want something on rice hulls. They talk about that's a product that every single day they have to actually deal with it in some way. Well, we're going to help them figure out a solution to that. So, I appreciate the work that's going on in College of Engineering and College of Business to work with us and our partners at Riceland, but these are exactly the kinds of things we want our students doing.
We talk about this a lot when Chancellor and I are out visiting different industry leaders, that we can serve for many major industries and business as your research and development. We can do that work here for you in cost saving, and it's a win-win for you, and it's a win for the state of Arkansas that our research actually produces for the public good of the state and cash flow and bring things to market. So thanks for that, Mick. Matt, what are the most promising markets for Arkansas-made sake here and abroad? And what would make it easier to reach those markets? Is it simply logistical supply chain, or is it a much broader effort needed to introduce a American-made good into a foreign market?
So we really haven't looked much into exporting yet. We've gone from the state of Arkansas originally in 2023, and now we're in 28 states. With California, we had a distributor that moved out of that market, so we're going back into California here this year with a new distributor. We hope to be exporting our sake around the world next year. And so we're working currently with SUSTA, and Wes is on the board there, or the president now this year. So helping with trade and opening those discussions now to open it up to the world.
Thank you. Harvey, a couple of weeks ago, I was told you were living my dream. You were standing in the middle of a field in the Arkansas Delta, and you were using robotics to test with ag lunch. And my wife's out there, and she was saying, no way we're doing that in retirement. But what were you testing, and how does the robotics help specialty crops like yours and your industry?
Yeah, I mean, that was an exciting day. It was the first test, and we've partnered with Ag Launch, because Ag Launch has this vision to help the Arkansas and the Mississippi Delta to sort of transform part of the land that we have here. We will always be an agriculture community, but it doesn't always have to be row crop, and they're thinking more specialty crops. If we find ourselves feeding part of America out of the Delta, it could transform the landscape of what we do and what we see. But part of the challenge there is labor, and it's more labor intensive than just taking maybe a cotton picker or a combine to the field. So we were digging sweet potatoes at the time, and this unit was a robotic unit that it followed the worker through the field, and as we was picking up, it would actually serve as a carrier for the potatoes and take it back to the trailer to dump. So we've got to find more ways to make, you maybe don't eliminate labor, but make it more efficient, make it more ergonomic. So it was an exciting day to have that robot out there following the worker, gathering the product, and then taking it back to the trailer. So match the need with the technology. I think there's some things that are out there that can make things better and help bring specialty crops to the area that we don't have today.
Mickey, can you piggyback on that and talk a little bit about our precision ag research and drones that we're actually partnering with Arkansas State University, BB, with?
When you look at drones today, there's certainly a lot of consideration of those drones as opposed to some other mechanisms. For example, when you look at a field, as Wes was talking about earlier, to take a step back, the commodity prices are such that individuals are looking at potential losses, right? And so a lot of the input is treating the field, whether it be a pathogen or whatever the case may be. If you have to have it sprayed by either a large sprayer or you actually have it flown over, you're really covering the entire field for the most part, as opposed to potentially having a drone to run across that field very quickly, identify a very key area, and address that key area. And so now we're seeing the precision of that, where you can go through there and just treat the areas that you need to. And I think that's where that kind of savings is going to help people in the future.
I got another question for you, Dean Latour. Can you name 2 or 3 projects that Arkansas State and the College of Agriculture is working on in the next 12 to 24 months that could actually help Arkansas companies make and sell their finished products? Are there any in the pipeline?
Yeah, so before I do that, I see Stephanie over here. So As an example where Keogh, the pecan capital of Arkansas, we actually had a student work with her and her group to find out the best use of those pecans and find out it was the oil, right? And so it's an example where they were trying to figure out what to do with those pecans, and it turned out to be the oil. But in terms of the projects that we're looking at, the first big one that we're looking at, we have a large submission in, and it's compost. When you look at this region and what we have available, whether it's the Embassy Suites to football or to our farms on the university campus, can we create a compost that could actually be a soil amendment that would have the application for academics, but also out in the field at scale. So that's one. The other one is we believe that we can really work with small processors to create new products. So in my former life, I took individuals, we went to Cologne, Germany, and we went throughout Europe, and you look at very specific products, and then when we come back, in my former life, we would create those products in a lab under various conditions so that if they wanted to replicate it in their facility, they could start. And so a lot of times, someone wants to have a summer sausage, and they don't have access to figure out, well, how much high-tip cheese do I put in there? How much jalapeno? How much this? They don't have time to do that. We can help do that. So we can help them create those products.
Thank you, Mick. Secretary Ward, Arkansas State is seeking accreditation for its College of Veterinary Medicine with the expectation of admitting its first class in the fall of 2026. Can everybody give us a round of applause for that? Huge. Why is this important for Arkansas farmers and ag business?
Yeah, I think it's a great testament to the continued forward thinking of ASU and looking for problems, helping to address those. If you look across the state of Arkansas, certainly as I've already mentioned, agriculture is state's largest industry. The animal agriculture component of that's I think like 57% of our direct cash receipts. So livestock, poultry, incredibly important to our state's economy. But broader than that, you see more and more people that have domestic animals, companion animals that you see an influx of that. But overall, why that's so important is because there are fewer veterinarians, and the demand signals are very high for veterinarians, especially for those on animal agriculture, the large animal veterinarians. And so, really, just kudos to ASU for identifying a need that we've been talking about, the industry's been talking about for several years, and saying we're going to fix this. So I think there's some great opportunities there. I think it will help to meet a need, not just in Arkansas but across the country, for veterinarians and large animal veterinarians. And the model that ASU is pursuing allows collaboration with industry and government, and so we're already working with the team. But we're really excited about that opportunity. But again, a testament to the forward-looking of what ASU is doing.
And we appreciate all your help that you've given us with that effort as well, Secretary Ward. Mickey, how will the College of Veterinary Medicine connect with the College of Agriculture on livestock health, food safety, and strengthening your overall research portfolio in the College of Agriculture?
So when you think about agriculture, and as Wes just talked about, 57% of those receipts are coming from the animal side. On our side of the equation, we look at the nutrition, the husbandry, and all of the things to optimize those animals, the feeding, all those combinations. And then you cross the line, and when you cross that line, it comes to veterinary medicine side. So when you think about zoonotic diseases, so the disease that could transfer from an animal to a human, they are critically important for veterinarians to be involved to make sure that doesn't happen, or monitoring avian influenza and all the other things that go on, so we don't have these wide, breakouts where we really disrupt the entire food chain. So they're critically important on all of that component. So it's a transfer of a baton, in my mind, where we're working on all the fundamentals of the physiology, the nutrition, and the husbandry. And then when you step into all the disease side and all the other health care that comes along with it, and human health.
You know, I think what makes the College of Veterinary Medicine especially important, it will concentrate on small animals, but also large. I remember the day when Dean Bancy and Dean Fry walked in and said, we're going to need 2 barns, a bovine and an equine barn. And then as a country boy, I'm like, yeah, that's 25 grand. We can do that. And when the architects returned the renderings, it was well over $1 million. I don't know what kind of barns are they out there building. But it's not been a cheap effort, but it's one that we think that will benefit the state of Arkansas and will have as a for the next 100 years to come, and actually will change and transform our campus as well. So we really do appreciate all the effort and the good things that's going to come from that. Chris is giving me the signal to wrap up, but before we do, I want to ask and give you some time. What did we miss? What would you like to talk about? What would you like our audience to know about agriculture in the state of Arkansas, products that are being taken and sold abroad, but more importantly, brought to market here? What did we miss, and piece of advice could you give someone out there who's looking to break into the market? What type of sage advice could you give them? So I guess I'll start right here with Matt.
I don't have any sage advice for anybody, but I will say we're bringing a product to market right now. So sake is a very small category in the alcohol space. We have developed a product that's called Snow Monkey. It's named after a Japanese macaque, and it's the first sake-based seltzer in the country, and it's growing phenomenally well. If you think about ready-to-drink category, White Claw, High Noon, they're vodka or malt liquor based, and we're using 100% Arkansas rice and bringing a more consumable product to the market right now, so we're excited about that.
Wow. Secretary?
Yes, sir. Well, I just want to recognize both Origami Sake and Delta Dirt. They're just phenomenal examples of agriculture looking and finding ways to increase value and help producers. And so they're doing incredible. Both of them are doing incredible jobs. Just a great example of what can happen for agriculture and continue to happen. I would maybe it's a challenge for all of y'all. Everybody has to eat every single day. Hopefully you all had breakfast. Hopefully you're going to stay for lunch. It's agriculture that produces that. So it is a team effort. Even if you're not involved in the ag industry at all, you're eating food. And so just finding ways to recognize the contributions of agriculture, finding ways to, like what the governor's doing with the nutrition programs, like what can we do different? Like how do we get more rice in schools? How can we better support restaurants and communities? We want your feedback. So if there's things that we can do to help, we're all on board to do that. There's a lot of great things. There's challenges for sure, but there's a lot of great things happening, and we would appreciate your feedback on how to continue to do that. Thank
you so much. Dean Latour?
So one thing that I would say is that probably the majority of people look at the institution as, the academics and our kids do great and they go on to graduate and those things. I would like to just say to the entire audience, across all of our colleges and the university, we're here to help solve problems. Right? And so we're talking about agriculture, but we have engineering and education and science and mathematics and in all of those areas in business, that those kinds of things that you have within your companies that you really want to address, we're here. And so I think we're open-armed to work with you and try to help find a solution, because we've got tremendous talent with our faculty and our students, and I think we're ready for the challenge.
Dean Latour, that's one of the things that we talk about a lot. That's what distinguishes us as a research institution. Arkansas State is a research institution that challenges problems that plague the people of Arkansas and the region, and we take up big problems. I charge the deans and our faculty with taking up big problems and trying to solve big problems. So that is exactly correct, and I'm so very glad that you said that to the audience. It's more than just about teaching and graduating them and putting them in the market, but it's also about solving problems. Harvey, any last words or wisdom?
Well, I do have 2 points. One, I would encourage you to come down to Helena, to the distillery, to see a raw material like sweet potatoes, or corn, or wheat. We have an amazing gin made out of, derived from corn and wheat. And then to see that processed all the way through into the bottle where you can enjoy. So I'd encourage you to come. I'd love to show you around and host you there. Number 2, I really like what the university and love what the university here is doing to connect with agriculture and the Delta, to help lift the Delta to a more prominent place around agriculture and feeding America and taking care of the people and solving problems. I will say the U of A, ASU was the first place that saw my business plan before anybody outside of my wife and I, because there's a Delta Economic Center here that I came to, and they were the ones who connected me to suppliers and people across the state of Arkansas, including AEDC in Little Rock. I mean, they were tremendously helpful in helping me get my business. This is before I even bought the building or did anything. So I love what the ASU is doing to support small business.
I appreciate it. Is Andrea and Cliff in the room? Will you please stand if you're in the room, Cliff and Andrea? They helped bring that to market. Andrea is the director, and Cliff is associate director of the Arkansas Delta Research. We were established in 1909 with the sole purpose of being the agriculture and mechanic school, and that was our mission. And the Chancellor and I are recommitting that, although that we do broad research, we teach across a wide spectrum, but our mission will always be to help the people of the Arkansas Delta, and it will also be to solve problems in the Arkansas Delta, and we'll never stray from that mission, and research and resources will continue to follow that as we tackle big problems about that. And so I would like to thank you again. Thank you for being here, giving us of your time. And so can the audience give our panelists another great round of applause? Thank you.